Hello and welcome to Yes You Can, training for teachers in the Universal Preschool course as part of the Bilingual Future Academy series. Standard version, the teacher training programme to teach English in preschool for non-English teachers with the Universal Preschool course. My name is Claire Selby and this is where we begin the training. Slide 2, the plan of the session today. There will be 3 parts. Part 1 is about the methodology and the academic basis for the claims in the course. Part 2 is the programme itself, the Universal Preschool course standard version. And Part 3 is where you get to join in and learn from practice exactly how to lead a lesson yourselves. That's the workshop, My First Lesson. Slide 3, let's brainstorm. I'd like to invite you to think about 3 questions. What is the best age to start learning English? How do children learn an additional language? And how did you learn your native language? Well, the answers to these are quite easy. The best time to start learning English as an additional language is the same as your home language from birth, and at the latest by the age of starting preschool, so around age 3. How do children learn? Well, that's a long story, but clearly they mainly learn through play and through listening. And how did you learn your native language? Well, I think you can answer that yourself through hearing it and using it as early as possible when you were young. So children should learn additional languages as young as possible. In fact, in parallel to the home language. That is the way they will learn to be bilingual. Why? Because very young children have 3 key learning advantages. They have a special part of their brain which is designed to learn language and which has the capability to separate languages automatically. They hear the different sounds and collect them into groups that match each language individually. They can also learn to pronounce those sounds perfectly with their flexible faces and flexible tongues, which means that they can pronounce very clearly and become easy to understand whichever language they're speaking. And thirdly, and for me the most important point, is that they can absorb and apply grammar rules that they hear automatically, so we don't have to teach them the normal rules, only the exceptions, and that will save them an immense amount of time and pain in learning additional language rules at school. So let's get them learning as early as possible. On slide 5, we look at language connections. In a single language environment, whether a person is an adult or a child, they will only hear the home language, and so they will learn to communicate with the world through that home language only. Let's look on slide 6 at what happens if they meet other languages. On slide 6, we see that an adult learning an additional language has to translate everything that they learn into the home language and back again in order to communicate in the additional language with the rest of the world. Their reference is the home language. And even though they can get very good at doing that and become what we would call bilingual in a literary sense, in that they can read and speak well, they will never feel naturally bilingual in the same way as a child can. They have to learn it the hard way. So let's look at what happens for a child on the next slide. On slide 7, we see the difference for a child learning an additional language. They learn the additional language in parallel to their home language. They develop the same skills of absorbing and applying grammar, of making those new language sounds perfectly, and of separating those sounds from their home language naturally. So the additional language becomes an equal and natural way to communicate with the outside world, and that is then pure bilingualism. Slide 8 shows an example of very young children learning through playing, and an example film to go with it. Let's watch that now.
Go! Stop! 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 Go! Stop!
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Slide 9 says a little bit about me, the author Claire Selby. I wrote the Universal Preschool course, having written other courses for many years, starting 20 years ago with my first privately prepared audio course. I then went on to write school courses for preschool and primary aged pupils with Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press and FLTRP in China, before returning to write the Universal Preschool course based on all the experience that I had built to date. Slide 10 shows the methodology that I had developed before I wrote the Universal Preschool course, and this is the spiral language system, which combines all the ways that pupils at a young age absorb learning best, through sounds, pictures, interest, repetition, actions and links teamed together with the content that is carefully structured to match a spiral of learning development. A very simple example on slide 11 of how that spiral works is to show that in an initial unit, pupils may learn the numbers 1, 2, 3. In a later unit, those numbers will be combined with objects that are new. So 1 apple, 2 oranges, 3 pears, and then a collective lots of bananas. In a later unit again, we will teach them to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count to 5. And so they link the numbers with objects and then with the action of counting quantity. Slide 12 shows an example of how that works in the action of a film in practice that children can watch, listen to and learn from.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Apple, orange, banana and pear. Apple, orange, banana and pear. 1 apple, 2 oranges, 3 pears. 1 apple, 2 oranges, and lots and lots and lots of bananas.
You like cakes, she likes cakes, he likes cakes, and I like cakes. Ah, oh dear. 1 cake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5 cakes. I know. Come with me. Wow! Look! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count to 5. I can count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count to 5. I can count to 5. I can count to 5.
On slide 13, we start to look at how class teachers who don't know English can teach English. Well, that is one of the secrets of the Universal Preschool course. So on slide 14, we identify the new goals and new strategy that the Universal Preschool course aims to achieve. We aim higher, targeting a bilingual future for pupils with English, not just learning a bit of English. We wanted to think wider and reach all pupils in preschool, so include those preschools where the class teacher didn't know English. And we wanted to work together, so bring together the non-expert English-speaking class teacher and the expert English teacher who does know English and can bring more to that connected endeavour. And by joining those together with the support of parents and the pupils themselves, we can aim to achieve more in the young years of learning English. Slide 15 looks at some of the problems. Why isn't everyone bilingual already? Well, we've identified that first of all, there are not enough qualified English teachers for every school to have one. And that means that pupils don't get enough English as a second language in their daily lives, whether they have an English teacher visiting occasionally or none at all. It's still not enough. Thirdly, they don't start learning early enough. By the age of 7, the best time to learn an additional language is already coming to an end. Between the age of 7 and 11, that special area of the brain that learns language best is closing down. So pupils really need to start earlier, at the latest from the beginning of preschool. And there isn't enough time in the preschool timetable to fit it all in, so we need to support pupils with some learning at home too. And many English classes outside school are too expensive for parents to afford, so we needed to supply some materials that pupils could afford to use at home, schools could afford to buy for the classroom, and that together would give English to pupils on a daily basis at the time when it is best for them to learn it, a very young age. Slide 16 shows that there are more benefits to being bilingual than just learning language. It's been shown now that pupils that have a bilingual ability or that learn an additional language early develop higher intellectual skills, so they are better able to access additional languages and even other information. They are better at problem solving, and so they get better job opportunities. They are culturally broader and more open to new connections, so they are better able to join in and solve global problems. And because their brains have been developed to a higher level with this extra skill, it can even help with dementia and other old age illnesses that affect the brain. So all round, being bilingual has benefits through the whole of life. Let's just remind ourselves that that new approach needs to be supported daily by the team. And the team is the parents at home following the instructions to bring a little bit of English into their children's lives. The pupil themselves that needs to feel motivated and enjoy learning English. And the school, both the class teacher and the specialist English teacher, if there is one, working together to bring a bilingual opportunity to their pupils. So on slide 18, let's present the new solution, the Universal Preschool course. It has home and school materials, so children can have some contact with English every day, quite easily. All preschool teachers can use it, and that is the point of this standard version. English can be introduced into the classroom every day through play by the class teacher who doesn't need to be an expert in English themselves. And it's a 3-year preschool course, so that exposure to English daily, at home and at school, can be brought into play every day for the whole of the child's preschool experience. And that will really build a good foundation for later learning. So on slide 19, let's move on and see the programme itself. On slide 20, let's look at how that works. How can you teach English if you're a non-speaker of English yourself? Well, take a look at the Universal Preschool Course Standard version. It is designed for you. There are versions of it in English, but also translated into the local language so that teachers can read in their own language what the instructions are and how to use the materials. You can follow the teaching plan step by step so that you're guided all the way through the lessons and through the course right to the end. And then you have a whole series of suggested activities to follow, but of course, let's remember that you are creative class teachers and you can add ideas of your own to make the suggestions funnier or more entertaining or more directly useful to the class that you have in front of you, depending on their personal interests. So you can contribute your own creativity even within the careful plan of these lessons. And that means that you can have fun while learning alongside the pupils too. Now on slide 21, I thought it was good to remind ourselves of the skills needed in preschool. The biggest layer of skill that you need in a preschool classroom is classroom management, and standard preschool class teachers know all about that. We don't need to teach you that. You know how to manage a class. And the second most important area is, of course, motivation and engagement, and that is something else that you know all about. You know the characters of your pupils, and you know what makes them enjoy their lessons. So all of that work is already done. You know how to do it. And the only thing that we need to add in order for you to be able to teach English is the subject knowledge, a bit of information about how to teach English to preschool pupils. So slide 22 summarises that. You can engage and teach the pupils, and the course can support and guide the teacher, and together the Universal Preschool course can help you bring English into your classroom. So on slide 23, let's break that down. Here are the skills that you need. Well, you can manage classroom control, you can motivate the pupils, but the Universal Preschool course can engage the pupils, get their attention with this colourful, bright and age-appropriate material. And then you can practice the activities with them and organise the games, but the English language presentation can be done by the materials in the course. So they fill in those little gaps to make English part of your teaching plan and to make it all possible. Slide 24 puts that into a cycle that you will be familiar with. The typical delivery of English learning will be, first of all, get control of your class, which you can do. Then attract their attention, which you can do, and with which the course materials will provide help. You can present the characters and then introduce the materials, but the materials will present the language itself. And then you can help engage the pupils in the activities that follow, like the games and the craft. The materials can be used to refresh their knowledge of the language with flashcards, with films, with songs, and all of that leads back into the control that you keep over the pupils while they're engaging in those activities, so there is order and learning in the classroom. So slide 25 shows us the role of the three groups. The parents control and motivate their children at home by switching on the materials and letting the children engage with them. The course itself attracts the children's attention, presents the English, keeps them engaged to the end of the unit, and refreshes the vocabulary by recycling it through the course in the spiral language system. The teachers control and motivate the class at preschool and so help them to continue enjoying learning English as a natural part of their lessons every day. Slide 26 introduces an overview of the preschool course. So, it is 3 years long with 3 levels, 1 level for each year of preschool. There are 3 packs per level, a pack for home use, a pack for the teacher in the classroom, and a pack for the pupil in the classroom. And that applies in each level, the starter level, level A, and level B. So 3 levels, 3 packs, over 3 years. And there is material on screen and off screen so that children can learn in the ways that children learn best, through engaging personally and through group play with other pupils. Slide 27, let's meet the baby beetles that are the characters for the starter level. They are Zoom, the green baby beetle, Splish Splash, the blue baby beetle, Ring Ring, the red baby beetle, and Tick Tock, the yellow baby beetle. And together they make a fun, happy group of friends. Slide 28 shows the daily plan at preschool, and it's easy to follow because because it's all on the poster which is supplied with the pack. First of all, the lesson will begin with the film, so you see the context for learning, and then you can follow the other craft, game and song activities that are described in the lesson plans to practice, repeat and enjoy learning those new words or phrases through the context of the materials themselves. And the colourful poster can be used in many ways to revise language too. So on slide 29 we see that it is a step-by-step course. One theme, one lesson plan, 1 week per theme. So it's all laid out very carefully and simply for you to follow the units one by one through the course of your school year. And there are resources for the teacher, so on-screen films and songs and activity instructions, as well as off-screen flashcards and posters and stickers that you can use to help you motivate and engage your pupils, so that you have teaching tools in your hand ready to use. And for the pupils at school, there are fun, colourful pupils' books, which are not only activities to fill in or colour in, but also can be taken out of the book and used as teaching tools to make their lessons more interactive. So slide 30 shows us the unit structure. As I say, there is a plan for each week for each unit. It follows the film that sets the context, presents a unit song that the children can learn to sing and remember. There's a unit craft activity so they can engage their hands in doing and enjoying and engaging directly with the topic. And there's a unit game so that they can play with their friends and find English is part of their team or class activity, not just a solo activity. After all, it's about communication. Slide 31 shows you the kind of format for the lesson plans that you will find on screen and in some markets on printed cards as well. The lesson plan presents the film and shows you how to prepare pupils for watching the film. It describes activities with the song track. It tells you the purpose of the pupils' book sheet and how to use it. It provides extra ideas for a craft sheet that you can download and print so that you can do extra making and doing activities with the pupils. There are games with flashcards or with other toys, and there are activities that you can do with the wall poster. Each activity is carefully described for you. Slide 32 mentions some of the other additional resources, like backing tracks without the vocals, so your children can perform at open days at school. And there are extra materials online to help you too, such as guide films giving you example lessons to follow and to see how other teachers have used the materials perhaps slightly differently from the guided cards. From slide 33, we take a step-by-step approach. The lesson plan tells you how to start with the class and present the film. So you can read and review the instructions. You can decide whether to present the new words with the flashcards or puppets or toys. You can do activities while watching the film, actions and other ideas. And you can join in and then eventually sing along or speak along with the film and so engage directly with the materials. Slide 34 shows an example of a class using the song Hiding.
Hiding.
I am hiding, 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 I am hiding. Boo! I am hiding, I am hiding, I am hiding, I am hiding.
Slide 35 shows you an example of a pupil's book sheet. Now, at first glance, it looks as if you just draw a line and that's it. But let's look a little closer. This sheet offers many ways of connecting with the material and with the pupils. First of all, of course, they can follow the path that the car takes and use their manual dexterity, their writing or pre-writing skills to follow the dotted line as closely as they can along the path to where the car is full of baby beetles at the end. But also, let's have a look at the pictures. First of all, the car has zoom in it at the start, but only zoom. Then, as the car travels along the dotted line, Zoom can collect his friend Ring Ring, and then he can collect Tick Tock and Splish Splash, and finally with a full car they can proceed to the end where they go on an adventure together. You can revise the word for car, for tree, for each of the characters, and even add the words flower and worm if you want to add to the activity. Slide 36 shows a typical additional craft sheet. Again, at first glance, this looks like colouring in, but actually you need to add your own picture in to the square frame that's on the sheet, and that means engaging personally with the picture. It means that pupils can not only colour in the characters and revise their names, think about the environment that those characters are in with their lovely green hills and trees and clouds and flowers, and with the ball that they're playing with, but also the pupil can feel as if they themselves are playing with the baby beetles. They can be part of that picture, part of that world, and so part of English. And of course, once they've completed the sheet, they can take it home and talk about it all over again with their parents to show them how they are engaging with the baby beetles and so with English at school. Slide 37 looks at games. What is their purpose? Well, language is about communication. So games are a way for young pupils to share using that language in a more natural way than a conversation. At that age, a game is to do with the baby beetles and around the context of the baby beetles, so even in their own classroom, it feels more natural to use the baby beetles language in the game. It means they can share the fun of English as a class, not just as a solo activity. It means that we as teachers can present the language in a new way and get them to repeat the language in a new way so that it doesn't feel dull. Games are usually a physical activity, which means they're moving about and learning through doing. It means you can link together multiple items. So, for example, a car can be linked with other items learnt, such as the tree, the road, the worm, the flower, or the character names. You can also use games to distract a class that's got stale or bored, or to refocus them on the topic if they are beginning to get tired at the end of the day. And you can even play a game as a reward. So if they've done a very good job of their craft activity, but it's the end of the day or the end of the lesson, just give them a few moments to play a game as a reward for all their hard work. So games are really very helpful. On slide 38, we talk about flashcard games because they are a very popular way of reinforcing language in the classroom. Instead of just showing the cards and getting the children to tell you what's on them, you can put them in a lucky dip bag and get the pupils to pick out a card and so introduce that element of luck and chance. You can hide them behind a fan of cards or get them to pick a card from a fan. You can perhaps put them in a mystery box. You can hide a card behind another card and just bring a little bit of the picture out at a time so that they can guess what it is by looking at its shape. Then they're using a different part of their brain, the shape recognition part of the brain, at the same time as learning language. And of course, you can engage memory in other ways, not just remembering the sounds of the words, but by pinning cards up on the board and then taking one away. Which one is missing? And then repeat it, take another one away, and so on, until they have to use their memory to not just remember the pictures, but also tell you which words are missing, which cards are missing. And so their memory is used in a multitude of ways just by the simple act of using flashcards. Sometimes, as it says on slide 39, it's good to motivate your students with something they can take away and show to their parents. So stickers are helpful. Not all the time, but sometimes as a special treat. So we provide some stickers in the packs so that you can use them on special occasions. And you can always order more if you find that your pupils really enjoy receiving a sticker as a reward. So on slide 40, we introduce the idea of the home learning packs. There are on-screen packs so that children can watch films on the phone, on an iPad or on a laptop just as easily as if they had a picture book. And in fact, young children prefer it these days. They can then engage with an active, action-filled film and then sing along to it or move along to it if that's what they like. And of course, the context is then the same as the material at school. So the connection with English at home is the same as the connection with English in school. They get daily English at home, at school, and increase their chances of remembering English many-fold. Slide 41 shows the home packs. In Poland there is a printed home pack, and for other countries there is a digital version which is much easier for parents to use. You can download and print pictures from the picture book so that they can engage with a drawing and colouring activity which helps them to remember and focus on the ideas in English that they'd learnt at school and seen again in the film at home. It's good to have off-screen activities as well as on-screen activities to fill the child's experiences of English. Slide 42 looks at the home pack that's printed, but you can also, if you're outside Poland, print the poster and the colouring book pages yourself so that you can have access to that. We just find that most parents these days are looking for a digital pack to work with, not so much a printed pack. Moving on slide 43, levels A and B introduce new characters because, let's face it, 4- and 5-year-olds think of themselves as more grown up, so they need new, more grown up characters. And here we have Tom and Kerry with their friends Dog and Cat, and of course their magic yellow house. Slide 44 gives you some more description of the characters. And you can read this slide, but essentially Tom is playful, Kerry is playful too, but in an organised way. Cat observes and watches and then joins in when she feels like it. And Dog is very playful and unfortunately sometimes causes some of the problems that the team of friends then has to solve. But together they have a lot of fun. Slide 45 shows that for Tom and Kerry too, there is a daily plan for the lessons which is shown on the poster. All the activities are listed and the activities build from a story film with Tom, Kerry, Dog and Cat, and then we repeat the song, we do craft, we have a game to again help them to engage with the material in many active ways. But there's also an extra film, which is a pronunciation film. Children from 4 onwards are quite happy to repeat back, and in this film they can see a live presenter's face pronouncing the words and sharing those words and phrases with them to copy alongside characters from the films that dance around them and remind them of the context in which those new words were presented in the story film. The poster also provides a lot of opportunities for revising vocabulary through the days, weeks and months of the course. Slide 46 goes through that process in a little more detail, with setting the scene, sharing the activities with a group through playing games, consolidating with craft, and of course, revising the song with fun at home. On slide 47 we see that the structure of the unit for Tom and Kerry is a little different. We have 2 weeks per theme, so one unit has 2 weeks and 2 sets of lesson plans. That's to give the teacher and the pupils more time to explore each topic, because each topic is bigger for this age group, of course. But in the same way as the Baby Beatles lesson plans give you step-by-step instructions, these lesson plans also give you step-by-step guidance, right from preparing the lesson to how to finish the lessons. On slide 48, we see more supportive materials that are added. There are flashcards, films, songs, reward stickers, and of course extra online resources too. Slide 49 explains how there is a daily plan at home and at school for using the materials, so parents have guidance too in what to do when and which activities they can undertake simply at home, even if they don't speak English either. So every piece of guidance is there to support the parents, the teachers and the pupils and build that team for better learning. Slide 50 shows the pack as a whole. Here we have the on-screen and off-screen materials demonstrated. Part of the extra resources on slide 51 that are included in the Tom and Kerry series are the vocabulary films as mentioned. They can play this again and again as many times as they like until they really know those words, but only if they choose to. Otherwise they can come back and do that later. It's about what the pupils want to do when they want to do it. That's why the digital resources are so flexible. Children can learn in the way that they want to, and usually they do.
Hello. Ball. Say with me. Ball. Ball. Red. Say with me. Red. Red. Yellow. Say with me. Yellow. Yellow. Blue. Say with me. Blue. Blue. Rainbow. Say with me. Rainbow. Rainbow. I can see a rainbow. Say with me. I can see a rainbow. I can see a rainbow. Well done. Goodbye, rainbow. Goodbye. See you soon.
The Tom and Kerry series also has a Hello unit, and slide 52 tells us about that. The Hello unit at the start of the course settles the pupils in, presents the new characters and sets a new context for learning once they've finished Baby Beetles. It reminds them that they know some words in English already, and it allows the parents to start their routine and get ahead of the topics in preschool so that the pupils can follow more easily when they get to the classroom. Slide 53 presents the beginning of the workshop. Now, for this, your trainers should prepare example worksheets from the pupils pack, from the craft online resource sheets, and prepare the flashcards, the films, the songs, and any other materials such as the toys which are useful for presenting the lessons. The toys are not obligatory. They're not a part that you must have in the standard pack, but they will be helpful if you can have them. And so from this workshop slide onwards, you can then get into groups and each take a part of the lesson plan to work through yourselves. On slide 54, let's start your first Baby Beetles lesson. 55. The most important lesson of all is to have fun. Let's watch some teachers learning together. And they're certainly having fun. So on slide 56, make sure you have the lesson plan ready. For example, for the unit My Car, the film, the song track, the pupils book sheet, the online resources sheet, a set of flashcards and the wall poster so that you can use these in your workshop. On slide 57, it shows you how to log on to a sample if you're working online. You can allocate the activities to the groups in the class, allocate time for presentation at the end, and give each of them access to a lesson plan or printout of it so that you can refer to it together and monitor it for questions and answers. Slide 58 shows you the sample film, My Car.
My car. My car goes fast. My car, my car, my car goes fast. My car goes fast. Fast, fast. My car, fast, fast. My car goes
So on slide 59, now get into groups perhaps of 4 and each take a turn in leading a baby beetle's activity from the lesson plan. Work it out together in the group, decide who will do what and how you will present it, and then share it with the whole group so that you learn together. Slide 60 are instructions for the trainer. Now, on slide 61, we move on to Tom and Kerry. Here is an example of your first lesson plan and lesson activity with Tom and Kerry, Level A. Slide 62 shows the sample film for this example, which is Tom's red ball. Watch the film first and then move on to the activities.
Hello, Tom. Hello, Kerry. Hello, yellow house. Hello, Tom. Hello, Kerry. Hello, yellow house.
Ball. Red. Red ball. Tom's red ball.
Hello, cat.
Hello, dog. Look, a ball, a red ball. Oh! Whoa! Red ball! Red ball! Where's my red ball? Look! A ball! Ball! Oh, it's a yellow ball.
Hello, yellow ball.
Where's my red ball?
Look, a ball.
Oh! It's a blue ball.
Hello, blue ball.
Where's my red ball? Oh,
Look, blue balls, yellow balls, and red balls.
red balls. Oh, but where's my red ball?
Let's look.
Hello, yellow. Hello, yellow. Hello, red. Hello, red.
Hello, yellow, hello, yellow, hello, blue, hello, blue.
Hello, yellow. Hello, yellow. Hello, red. Hello, red. Hello, yellow. Hello, yellow. Hello, blue to you.
I can see red balls. I can see blue balls. I can see yellow balls. But where's my red ball?
Let's look again.
I can see red, red, red. I can see blue, blue, blue. I can see yellow, yellow, yellow. And I can see a rainbow too. I can see red, red, red. I can see blue, blue, blue. I can see yellow, yellow, yellow. And I can see a rainbow too. I can see red, red, red. I can see blue, blue, blue. I can see yellow, yellow, yellow. And I can see a rainbow too. Rainbow too. Rainbow too.
Look! My red ball!
Hooray!
Let's play!
Hello. Ball. Say with me. Ball. Ball. Red. Say with me. Red. Red. Yellow. Say with me. Yellow. Yellow. Blue. Say with me. Blue. Blue. Rainbow. Say with me. Rainbow. Rainbow. I can see a rainbow. Say with me. I can see a rainbow. I can see a rainbow. Well done. Goodbye, rainbow. Goodbye. See you soon.
Slide 63 reminds you about the poster. Think about whether you would use this in the lesson. Slide 64 reminds the workshop organiser about the materials that you will need for the workshop. So the lesson plans with all the instructions, including the game instructions and any props that you need for the games, the film, the song track, a copy of the pupils book sheet, some online resources, craft sheets, a set of flashcards, as we've mentioned the wall poster, and if you have them, you can always use the toys too. They don't have to be used in the standard version, but they're always handy. So slide 65 explains that in groups of 4 you can each take turns in leading a Tom and Kerry activity. Help each other with feedback and positive comments so that you each learn individually and you all learn together. So in summary, on slide 66, English it can be for every child and for every teacher. With the Universal Preschool course, you can learn with the children. You can have fun every day of the week. and children can learn both at preschool and at home. Now that sounds like a good plan for beginning a path to a bilingual future. I hope you've enjoyed it. Slide 67 suggests in summary how you can build your own takeaways, as they say, from this workshop. Think about what you have learnt, what else you would like to know, and what your comments are on how the training plan itself can be improved. Then you can look at next steps with your workshop leader. Slide 68 is the end of the training session. I hope you've enjoyed it, and well done for teaching your first Baby Beetles lesson and your first Tom and Kerry Level A lesson too. I hope you will now feel more confident and ready to start teaching in the classroom with your pupils. Remember our byword, from Baby Beetles to the end of Tom and Kerry. It's about having fun. So, let's play.